A very good morning. Respected Chairperson, Ms. Niteo Koza, most honored guest, Mr. Kini, Member of the Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Mr. Robin Sharma, the DGP for Prison, Nagaland, dear media friends, and Mr. Talimoa, the President and his colleagues, the various members of the Federation, my dear student friends and the media, ladies and gentlemen. From the Northern Department of Justice and Law, I warmly bring greetings to our members on your 9th Biennial General Conference. We wish you a very happy learning and also bless you to be an asset in our society. Dwelling on the theme for fairness and justice means treat all people as you want to be treated is the very notion of fairness and justice, the main principles of liberty and equality. As we all know, fairness is also a quality of not showing partiality to a certain person, but to being fair to all. Justice in broader term is giving a person his due. And as we all know, the glory of justice and the majesty of law are created not just by the court or by the constitution or by the members of judiciary, nor by lawyers, but by men and women who are protectors of the law as they themselves are protected by law. And this is why human rights work in the promotion of democracy and its principles. And today, engagement with civil society is a priority. So we work on these shared values, and in the pursuit of fairness and justice. We all know it requires discourses. So as members of the legal fraternity, we all should be well-read and well-informed. And which is possible if we all tune ourselves into learning a lot of legal commentaries, both in soft, which we get from soft and hard copies also. And then we are also required to be tuned to the various citations and the various laws that are being set by the various courts in the country and the Supreme Court. And once we get ourselves tuned to this, we are ready to have discourses and we are ready to be a contributor in the society. So I wish you all the very best as we get together to be a participants in this conference. I wish you the very best of learning today. Happy day.
Good morning, everybody. Morning, Nazakine. Morning, madam. Thank you, Tali, and your colleagues for inviting me. I must start with a small background, a little bit of how I am here. It's like about 10 days back that Tali sent me a message that I am from NLSF and I want to meet you. I said yes, most welcome. So we had a half an hour discussion and he said that he wants to bring his team to meet me. I said okay, fine. So the team also comes, 5 of them plus me. He said, sir, we want to invite you for. We had a discussion and he said we are having a biennial conference and we want to invite you as a speaker. So Nagaland niyam to only all of January. Wishi to na jane, customary law to na jane, follow to custom is no wishi. All of Jane, so we sit up wishi. Iku na dedi na we do. Mati bola asing mati bin, na mati bola asing na mati bin wishi. So national I have which was ठीक है तो मैं भी हमारा flag एकदम झंडा गाड़ी दीजिए आगे आएगा. Thank you very much. See, why I narrated this incident is that I think change needs to begin somewhere. And whatever little we can contribute to the change is our contribution to the society. I'm happy that at least I was, either I embarrassed them or I was able to convince them that despite not giving anything, I should be invited. So here I am. Again, thank you very much. Now, then we discussed what I should do. And I was like, plus peace leader bhavo. So, I think so it's clearly said, sir, Armed Forces Special Powers Act the leader ho. It will be part as a government servant, I cannot take stand on one side or the other. And as a civilian living in Nagaland, I can't take the stand on one side or the other. So we decided that okay, we will talk on something nonsensical. Yes, justice, fairness and justice is there. As I was asking the Kohima law students this week, 2 days back, when was the last time there was no law? And everybody just thought, no answers. Again, I'll ask the same question. Please, Kohima law students, don't answer because you know the answer. Because I told you the answer. Rest, anyone, if you can say, when was the last time when there was no law? Anyone else? The last time when there was no law was when individuals, human beings lived alone. Till the time we live alone, there is no law required. When we start living in societies, whether it is a family, or a neighborhood, or a clan, or a village, or a country, or states, we need law. So, and I don't remember, I cannot imagine a situation where human beings lived alone. Because obviously, each one of us was born of a mother. We had a family. So we started living as a family. So there was no situation when there was no law. Those laws were not written laws like we have today, but those were norms of governance, norms of behavior in a family or in a society. So that is where law is. Over a period of time, families started interacting with others, with clans, neighborhoods, villages, and the law developed. And law develops through individual experience. Law develops through conflict and conflict resolution. When there is no law, there can be conflict, but when there is a resolution of a conflict, it becomes law. At least it becomes a precedence for others. This is how law develops. The more developed and the better governed countries in the world are those who learn from mistakes, and a mistake is not meant to solve the problem of an individual, but from that mistake we learn to solve the problems of the society as such. So precedence is a very important thing. Justice and fairness is different in the eyes of different people. Everybody who is harmed, he thinks that injustice has been done to them. But there has to be a balance between the needs of the society and the needs of an individual. So justice cannot be seen in isolation. Justice is something which has to be seen in a holistic manner in the society. You all will grow up to be lawyers. Some of you will probably grow up to be judicial officers also. Best of luck for whatever you want to do. But
respected Chairperson, Advocate Koza, President and colleagues of the Nagaland Law Students Federation, my friend Upin Sharma, DGP, and special guest, Madam Nino Yalu, the Secretary of our Justice and Law Department, representing the State Government, senior advocates, advisors of our Law Students Federation, Advocate Kazukoto, whom we always read about in our papers, and his colleagues, servants, humble servants of God the Almighty, different reverends and pastors in our midst, representatives from the four estates, our media fraternity members, all other distinguished members present here this morning. Maybe I failed to address all of you in person by then. Kindly bear with me, excuse me. And members of the most important pillar of democracy in the making, my dear young friends, our law students from all over the state of Nagaland, who are gathered here this morning to observe the 9th Biennial Conference of our Students' General Conference of the NLSF. We give thanks to God Almighty for giving us a fine weather after a spate of thunderstorms, hailstorms, which we have all experienced. I have been in touch with our President and his colleagues for quite some time now. It was last year, in the month of November, when they have appraised me of this occasion which is due. In fact, I had always wanted to interact with the legal luminaries and our senior lawyers and students, especially pursuing this profession. It is a good opportunity for me, my good fortune, that your 9th Biennial Conference was due, and so here we are. So many have touched upon some of the most important points since the inception of the program this morning. Our President, Law Students Federation, have delivered a very inspiring and powerful speech. Very, very becoming of the head of the union. Followed by very wise, learned sharings from our own secretary, Mrs. Nino. She has a very vast experience in this field. She has grown up as a very young woman, a young woman officer in the field for several decades, and she has shared with us some of the most basic and practical sides of what is law, especially in our state. And of course, you have heard the very learned one of the most efficient police officers that our state has ever had. Prince Sharma, the IPS officer, who has had so many stitches around the world, not only in this country, law enforcement agencies, experiences and assignments all across the globe, in different countries of the world. And he is a guardian of our state, for which we have always been, and we are very, very proud of him. And his rich experience is paying off. You have seen, you must have read so many of his articles which he has been sharing with our citizens over the years, since last year, the year before, and continue to. So great interest to read through the lines which he shares about. And all that he said this morning, he's one of us. I can't say he's an outsider. Just that he might not have been born here, that's all. Everything is a lie. He speaks Nagaland better than me, you see. He's so well, very fluent. And he's conversant with our customary rules also. We're sick, we're in good hands. And we wish to see the day he takes over as the DGP HQ, PHQ. Law, from a common man's aspect, I will speak to you, I will share with you. I have absolutely no knowledge of law. I don't have a legal background, and my experiences in law are very limited. But having the pride and honor of being a lawmaker and being involved with the process of law, proceedings of law, and the execution of law, through my contributions to the society, to the party, and other government positions that I have held as a lawmaker. There are certain aspects and certain very, very significant issues, particular issues, which I want to share with you. You are told, and you know what law is. To me, law is the essence of governance. There is no governance which is lawless. Ever since, as our former guest speakers have said, humans, before we were together, organized and lived as a society, we may not have had law. But ever since we grouped up from the earliest time and created a semblance of society, we needed someone to rule us. So in that group, very, very crude form of governance too, there was a certain kind of a convention which was translated in the form of a law, and whichever or whoever was the authority had governed that state, that territory, and those people with a set of established law. That is my understanding, and that is, I believe, a little relevant to what the learned law must have had in its stages of history. Here, the quality of the society may be depicted or projected by the crude or refined manner of the laws concerned. If you want to understand the mentality and the category of that society's position in life, it is best to study the laws governing those people, the citizens, by its authorities. Maybe it will give you a direct insight of how much that the society is developed, which category it belongs to in the human society. It depicts, the more refined the laws are, the more refined that society is supposed to be. The more crude the laws are, then so will the society be. And especially the democracy, it applies more. Where the law is manufactured, it's produced by a parliament which is represented by members from every part of that territory to come into a certain forum and they churn out the laws after having thoroughly debated, exchanged their viewpoint of views, their aspects, and the majority's opinion is that it is amended, then it is enacted, and it is put into the constitution governing that country's law. So here, law is very important. It is the pivot where the society, the government, rotates the pivots around. It's so fast. I've had the good opportunity of being your representatives for the state for about 6 years now. My tenure is coming to an end on the 2nd of April. But the few years that I've been there have taught me so much and gave me insight into how this country actually functions and how it is governed, how laws are made. It was a wonderful experience. I've been very, very enriched. There are certain areas which we are still at loggerheads with the center. Our fight on these certain issues are not with the people, but it is with the center, the government of India. This is where we are going to differentiate the people and the government. We have no grudges as a Naga coming from this state. We have no grudges against the people of India. Our fight is against the government of India on certain issues, like the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. This is a very contentious issue. It has once again come to the fore after the voting incident. RDG has said his hands are tied because he occupies a certain position where he is constrained to spell out his own mind. I think we understand that is enough, his position. But there are so many, in fact, all our police officers, all our government servants, civil servants are with us as far as that matter is concerned. It's just that they cannot speak up because they occupy certain positions. Our chairperson here, I'm told she is a member of the Human Rights. And PLHR, Nagaland?
No, sir. Human rights no matter.
Human rights?
Yes, no matter.
Okay, all right. Whatever it is. I too have been a member of the NPLHR, the youth movement for human rights, during my students' days, so I thought it was representative. But for a country for a nation like India, to have a law like the AFSPA, it is not befitting. The world's largest democracy, a land of ahimsa, they say. Mahatma Gandhi's ahimsa, the father of the nation. He had always propagated peace for any kind of resolution to any issue which is controversial. He had campaigned, walked across Africa, and he brought his campaign to India. And it's accredited to him, that under his leadership, India's independence was achieved through a long, violence against, non-violence process. So the irony is how a nation like India, a land of ahimsa, who achieved her independence through non-violence method, is applying the most crude form, barbaric laws upon its own citizens to govern its territory within the union of this nation. That's the irony. Had it been a nation which had never experienced the brunt of the armed forces, special powers, that they could have not understood the sentiments of humanity behind. Because they had never been at the receiving end. But a country like India, who had suffered under the colonial powers since 1942, when the armed forces powers, special powers, were enacted by the then British Indian government and enforced upon the people of British India. They have untold miseries. Many are recorded, but many are still unrecorded and has not been projected to the world. But they have suffered so much, and they have fought against this kind of draconian power, a draconian law. But what followed 6 years down the line, and in 1947, they got the independence, they got the liberation. I don't know. It doesn't work. It never worked and it will not work. And how come a country like this is celebrating Draco? That's a question which is lurking in our minds. Draco, he was a 16th century European parliamentarian. He had nothing good to contribute to the people. All his proposals in handling, tackling the people were all barbaric, raw, inhuman, too extreme. That is